begins serving. We read in the very first chapter of St. Mark's Gospel, you can find it in Mark chapter 1, verse 35, that after a day, now he finally begins his ministry, and the people are coming to him. He's healing them, he's teaching them, he's consoling them. And then we read that in the Gospel of St. Mark chapter 1, verse 35 says, "Now in the morning, having risen a long while before daylight, he went out and departed to a solitary place, and there he prayed." My question is, Lord, what's the rush? What's the rush to go back to prayer? What's the rush to go back to solitude? What's the rush to go back to obscurity? We need you in the world. We need you active. Why exhaust yourself getting up extra early after a long day to pray? Wouldn't it be more useful for you to do more miracles, to do more preaching, to do more service? So there's something in this that is very important for us, which is the relationship between us as servants. Prayer and usefulness. The Lord is teaching us something, forgive me for saying it this way, but without prayer we are useless. Without prayer we are useless servants. We are just social workers. We're just administrators. The thing that makes our work supernatural, the thing that makes our service divine, is when it's infused by the supernatural element of prayer and sacrament and worship. Let me read a quote from one of the modern spiritual fathers. He says, "When we speak of Jesus being besieged continually by the multitudes, we have to say that this was closely related to his praying in solitude. There is an especially important message for you hidden in this. In order for your contact with the people to be fruitful, you have to know beforehand how to leave for seclusion. In order for your contact with the people, in other words, in order for your service to your children, when you visit somebody in the hospital, when you serve the elderly, whatever your service is, in order for it to be fruitful, you have to sometimes go into seclusion to spend time intimately with the Lord." Again, the same spiritual father says, "When a Christian, as a disciple of Christ, stops being a person of prayer, he becomes useless to the world. He becomes like tasteless salt." And we know what the Lord said about salt that is not tasteful, right? It should be what? Trampled underfoot. And then he goes on to say, "One thing is certain, if we do not pray, no one will need us. The world does not need empty souls and hearts. If we do not pray, the world will not need us." There are plenty of social workers, there are plenty of administrators, there are plenty of philanthropists, there are plenty of non-profit organizations that do that kind of work much better than us as a church. The thing that makes us useful to the world is when we're people of prayer, when we're infused with that divine, supernatural life of God. That's when we become useful to the world.